A rope bites into a hand calloused past feeling. Behind it, a block of pale stone the size of a wagon inches forward through the mud. No one here knows this stone will still be standing 2,000 years from now. They only know it's heavy, and there's another one behind it and another after that. Rome, 72 AD. The Emperor Vespasian has just ordered the largest arena the world has ever seen. A gift to the people, built where a tyrant's private lake once stood. History will remember it as a triumph of engineering. What it rarely asks is a simpler question: whose hands actually built it? To understand who, we have to go back 3 years earlier, to a war fought not in Rome, but on the other side of the empire in the province of Judea. And strangely enough, part of the answer to who built this arena isn't written in any surviving book. It's hidden in the stone itself, in a set of small holes archaeologists wouldn't fully understand for almost 2,000 years. You've probably heard the popular version already, that this arena was built by 100,000 Jewish slaves, captured after Rome crushed a rebellion in Judea. It's repeated in documentaries, textbooks, tour guides. It sounds definitive. Hold on to that number, because by the end of this video, you own 100 understand exactly why historians have started to question where it actually comes from. 2 years before that, in the year 70, the Roman general Titus laid siege to Jerusalem. When the city fell, it fell completely. The Second Temple burned, and tens of thousands of its people were taken captive. Not soldiers only. Families, entire communities marched out of a burning city toward ships they didn't choose to board. Back in Rome, Titus staged a triumph, a parade through the city, showing off everything the war had won. Golden vessels from the temple, silver, and people paraded like the rest of the spoils. That word matters, spoils, because everything captured that day, gold, silver, and human beings alike, was booked as the same kind of asset. And that asset was about to fund something enormous. So many captives flooded the slave markets at once that prices collapsed. Later rabbinic accounts describe entire groups sold for what amounted to the cost of a jug of wine. A person priced somewhere between a farmhand's weekly wage and less than that. This is the detail most retellings skip, not because it's disputed, but because it's uncomfortable. The war didn't just create an army of laborers. It created a market flooded with human beings, sold cheap because there were simply too many to sell. Whoever was doing the work, the scale of it is almost hard to picture. An estimated 100,000 cubic meters of travertine stone, quarried 20 miles away in Tivoli, floated down the river, hauled through the streets of Rome. No mortar held it together, just nearly 300 tons of iron clamps, and an army of hands to lift, drag, and place every single block. For nearly 2,000 years, that question, who exactly lifted these stones, was answered mostly by assumption. Then, in 1995, a historian looking closely at one particular block of stone noticed something everyone else had walked past for centuries. Beneath a much later inscription, he found faint holes, the ghost of an older message, one made of bronze letters that had long since been stripped away. When reconstructed, it read, "The emperor built this new amphitheater from the spoils of war." Confirmation, finally, in stone. But here's the twist almost no version of this story tells you. That inscription confirms where the money came from. It does not name a single laborer. No ancient text, not one, actually states that Jewish captives built this arena with their own hands. The number 100,000 slaves you heard at the start of this video. Historians now trace it back not to Rome, but to a modern guess, repeated so many times it started sounding like fact. Some historians push further still. Ancient records tell us that thousands of Jewish captives, taken earlier in the war, were sent not to Rome at all, but to a canal project on the other side of the Aegean, one that was abandoned before it was ever finished. It suggests something more complicated than one clean story. Captives scattered across the empire, sold individually to private owners, some of them likely never setting foot in Rome. If that's accurate, then the workforce raising this arena may have been a 1009 enslaved people alongside ordinary Romans working for wages, unable to find work anywhere else. Less cinematic, possibly more honest. Whoever built it, the work moved fast. By 79 AD, 3 stories stood complete, and then Vespasian died, never seeing his arena finished. It fell to his son. The following year, Titus opened its gates to the public for the first time. For 100 straight days, Rome celebrated. More than 9,000 animals died in the arena. By some accounts, roughly 2,000 people 999 too, a separate tally entirely from anyone who died building the place. Somewhere in that crowd, cheering under the same sun that once beat down on quarry workers and captives alike, almost no one made the connection. The gold that paid for their entertainment and the stone beneath their sandals, both came from the same conquered city. Rome minted a coin to remember this victory, a mourning woman seated beneath a palm tree, a nation reduced to a symbol you could carry in your pocket. But the people who actually raised the stone around her have no coin, no name, no inscription of their own. 2,000 years later, we can tell you who ordered this arena built and roughly what it cost. We still can't tell you who paid for it with their hands. This isn't only a Roman story. Nearly every civilization that ever built something meant to outlast, it has done so on the backs of people history chose not to record. The Colosseum simply left behind unusually good evidence of the question, even if it never quite gives us the answer. Maybe the most honest thing we can say about the Colosseum is this. We've spent 2,000 years arguing over who built it, and almost none arguing over whether it was right to build it that way. So the question worth sitting with isn't just who raised these stones. It's why we've always found it so much easier to admire the monument than to ask what it cost.